All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. If you're coming on, joining us live, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know your boy, my squad, we alive right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Good afternoon and welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Again, hit that like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. Let them know we alive. And today we're going to be talking about 5 ways to use a holding company. 5 ways to use a holding company. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for continuing to support the Ramonepreston Show. All of you that are part of our community, whether you're part of our business community, our ministry community, I want you to know on behalf of my team and myself, we appreciate you for trusting us to share the information with you that we do. My goal, my aim, my assignment is really to help you properly structure your business, your ministries, your income streams so that you can scale them to the next level. We live in a time right now, ladies and gentlemen, that really challenges us to take control of the narrative of our lives. And we live in a time that it really challenges us to take inventory on what exactly do you want to do with your life? What do you want to have? Where do you want to go? What type of experiences would you like to have for you and for your family? And when you start taking all those things into consideration, you realize that you either have to have a business or you have to have money to invest in a business. Either way. I was telling my team this the other day. There are a lot of people who feel like, okay, I don't want no business. I don't want to run a business. I just want a job. I just want to save money and retire and just have stability. But here's what I want you to understand. Even if you don't want no business, even if, entrepreneurship is not your thing, here's what I want you to understand. If you work on a job and you are participating in a 401k or 403b, or you have some type of retirement account, guess what you're doing? You're investing in a business. You're supporting an active business. All these businesses that exist today are tied to everybody, whether it's you working a job or whether it's you running a business. So it's not like knowing about business is going to make things worse for you. I know people who work jobs, but because they understand business, that they understand money, they understand investing, and they have a better grip on what they need to do even while they're working their job. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of clients in our mentorship program. I've consulted a lot of clients, and we have a lot of students who are in our educational programs who have jobs. They might have a business, but they have jobs. So it's important for you to understand this stuff. So I'm bringing this part of the conversation up, even though I'm talking to you about ways to use a holding company, because you got to get to a point to where you start realizing the type of world we live in. We live in a world that you are being forced to control the narrative of your life. If you ain't gonna control the narrative of your life, somebody else is. If you ain't gonna make the decision that, you know what, I gotta put myself in the best position possible so I can have financial freedom, so I can have security, so I can have stability, and so I can have a legacy. Well, when you start having that conversation, guess what you're gonna realize? You have to learn about business. And a part of learning about business is learning that there are business structures like the holding company that you can use to make certain things happen. So today, I'm gonna talk about just 5 ways you can use a holding company. Now, if you're new to the Ramonepreston Show and you don't know nothing about a holding company, let me just simply say it this way. A holding company is a business entity like any other business entity, but what's different between a holding company and any other business entity is a holding company is primarily used to hold assets. That's what a holding company is primarily used to do, to hold assets. Now, if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur looking to get into business, or you might be a W-2 employee, an independent contractor, and you're just trying to figure out what the next step is that you need to take. Maybe you have an idea to sell a product. Maybe you have an idea to provide a service, or maybe you're already selling products or providing services in the marketplace. Well, having a holding company will be the entity that owns your operating company. So whatever the business is that you want to do, the product you want to sell, the service you want to provide, I always encourage my students and clients to start the operating business, but make sure that it's owned by your holding company. Because when you have a holding company, there are ways you can use that holding company that you might not necessarily use that operating company. For example, if you are a restaurateur, right? You want to start a restaurant. Okay, well, if you start a restaurant and you got a restaurant and it's an LLC, you got a building, or you got a food truck, or you a caterer, okay, you're in the food service business, right? So that LLC is built around the restaurant business or the food service business. Well, there are certain things you might do with a holding company that you might not do with a restaurant business, because you don't want to tie your restaurant business into other things that you might be doing. This is the power and a part of the purpose of a holding company. So I'll talk to you about the 5 ways to use a holding company. I have many other ways that I can show you how to use a holding company. I just pulled 5 from my list for today's show. So the first way to use a holding company is through what we call asset management. This is one way you can use a holding company. Asset management. Now, if you've been following me for the last week or so, one of the conversations I was having was about asset management, to show you that when you own a holding company, you are essentially an asset manager, okay? So let's say this is you right here, and you have a holding company. So even if this holding company has divisions in it, certain things that you're doing inside of your holding company, or even if this holding company straight up has other LLCs that it owns, right? Because you have this type of structure set up, you are essentially an asset manager, and your holding company is essentially an asset management company. This is one way you can use your holding company. And it's really a powerful way for you to use your holding company, because what it does is it keeps you in a position to stay at the top of the mountain of your business, and it gives you the flexibility to really develop the skill set for other assets that you want to accumulate. So I talked about other assets that you can accumulate. Other assets like your trademarks, your intellectual property, your trade secrets. It could be real estate, it could be equipment, it could be other businesses. It could be so many different things. I talk about at least 30 things in one of my courses. But think about it. When you're an asset manager, even if your main asset is divisions or subsidiaries under the holding company, just positioning yourself as an asset manager and allowing your holding company to be the asset management company, it gives you the flexibility to start parlaying all these ideas that you have. Because remember, this is you. And if you're already an entrepreneur, you probably got ideas, you got business things that you want to start, you got products you want to sell, services you want to provide, you got partnerships and relationships with people. And so you got all these things that can become assets, but you're never really able to bring them together, to accumulate them and to make them make sense so that you can integrate them into your business. And one of the reasons why you're never able to do it, because you probably don't structure your business like this, and you never position yourself as an asset manager. So asset management is one way to use your holding company. And it's really a powerful way for you to use your holding company, because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you probably don't want to just keep doing the thing you're doing in business all the time. So whether it's selling a product, whether it's providing a service, or whether it's doing both, most likely you don't want to do this forever. You probably want to get to a point to where you can free yourself up. You can exit that role, maybe hire somebody else to run that business or do that thing you're doing. And you might just want to wake up every day and manage the assets. And it may not be the assets of other businesses. It may be the asset of your holding company that actually owns other businesses that are actually being ran by other people. But you never get to that point if you don't position yourself as an asset manager. This is one of the ways to use a holding company. Number two, another way to use the holding company is to mitigate what we call operational. I got to make sure I spell that word right, because that's a word that I don't always use every day. So one way to use your holding company is to mitigate operational plateaus. Operational plateaus. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. So when you have a operational business like this, these LLCs here, if they under a holding company, these would be like operational companies. So any business that's out in the marketplace today, any business that's selling a product, that's offering a service, that's out there doing business, that's considered an operational business. So these would be considered operational businesses because they sell products, right? This could be an online store, a retail store, it could be a restaurant, it could be a dry cleaners. They provide a service, all right? Whatever it is that they do. These are operational businesses. Well, one way to use your holding company is to mitigate operational plateaus. So what typically happens is the entrepreneur owns the operational business and they get to a point to where they burnt out, they get to a point to where they plateau. They can't go no further. They can't get nowhere else in their business. They can't grow professionally. And one of the reasons is because the person is not up here on top of the holding company. Most entrepreneurs are right here. They're standing on top of the operational business. You see what I'm saying? So they can't go nowhere. They're stuck. And especially if they don't understand the holding company. So just imagine, let me draw this over again. Just imagine if you don't know nothing about a holding company and this is you and all you have is an operational business. Right here. All you do is sell products and services. So you got your dry cleaning business, you got your landscaping business, you got your car detailing business, you paint for a living, you do real estate, you flip properties, you do construction work, whatever the thing is that you do, whatever the service is or the product is that you have, this is all tied to an operational business. But let's just say you don't have a holding company. Let's say you ain't got no structure over here with a holding company that allows this business to be owned by the holding company so you can stand at the top of this. Well, number one, you ain't really no asset manager. You just a laborer over here. You ain't really no asset manager. You just an employee for your own business. But the operational plateau comes in at because you got a ceiling now. You ain't got nowhere to go. You ain't got nothing else to do. You stuck here trying to figure out, man, how can I get out of this business? How can I exit this business? I'm sick of it. Well, it's because your mind is limited. Your mind is plateaued. So this is the second way that you can use a holding company. Because if you have a holding company and you move this operational business here, and you get away from being on top of the operational business and you put yourself up here, even if temporarily you got to assume the role to run this operational business, at least mentally you put yourself at a place to where you ain't got that ceiling no more. Now you can start thinking about accumulating other assets. Now you can start thinking about how can I exit this role and maybe hire other people to assume this role so that I can get on top of my holding company and start building my organization out. You get what I'm saying? So that's a big, big difference from just somebody who's running a operational business and somebody who is running a holding company that owns an operational business. All right, so that's number 2. So I've given you two ways already to use a holding company. Number 1, asset management. That was 1. And number 2, I'll just put mitigate operational plateaus. Okay, number 3, the third way to use a holding company is to create brand identity. Now, for a lot of people, this is where it gets a little confusing because a lot of people want to start holding companies because they want anonymity. They don't want to be known. They want to be anonymous. So if you want anonymity, if you want to be anonymous, this way ain't gonna work for you because you don't want nobody to know who owns the holding company and you don't want nobody to know who owns the operational company. You're trying to hide your holding company and you're trying to hide your name and yourself. So that means you don't really want to create brand identity. Now, can you have a holding company that you own and you and the holding company have anonymity, are anonymous, and your operating business still creates a brand? Yes, it can happen. But in most cases, it don't happen. This is what I be trying to tell startup companies and entrepreneurs who start holding companies. Because in your mind, you think you're going to be like some of these big wheels on Wall Street or some of these behemoth companies that have billions and trillions of dollars behind them. You ain't got it like them. So it don't matter if you got a Delaware LLC, a Wyoming LLC, a Nevada LLC, or all 3 LLCs. If you do not have an operational business in the marketplace that you can build a sustainable brand identity through, you ain't gonna really get to where you think you're gonna go. Now, I know some real estate investors who have real estate investment companies. These companies are owned by a holding company. Nobody knows the name of the holding company. Nobody knows the name of the owner of the holding company. The only name people know is the name of the LLC that's associated to that piece of real estate. But these are real estate investors who already got money. They have properties and their whole business is built around not necessarily building a brand, but just accumulating properties and making money off their rental properties. So that to some extent can work for the real estate investor or some other type of investor who just wants anonymity. But let's say that real estate investor wants to go on social media and wants to create some type of crowd fund and wants to solicit people to become investors in that crowd fund. Guess what problem that investor is going to have? Brand identity problem. They're going to have a brand identity. Now they got to circle back around and figure out, how can I build a brand to get attention for people to trust me and know me? Again, if you're not trying to build no brand, then it may work for you, but you just need to be mindful of that based on the kind of business that you're building. So if nobody's buying your products, if nobody's doing business with your operating business and your holding company is anonymous, you are anonymous, then you can't get mad that nobody ain't doing business with a business. They don't even know who the owner is, because some people don't trust that. And again, you can't just look at a lot of these bigger businesses that do that, or these sophisticated investors that do that, and think, oh, okay, I'm gonna listen to them and I'm gonna do it. You probably ain't got it like that. If I could build a business without having to be plastered on social media so much, of course I would. But that don't work. You have to build brands in today's world. especially in today's world, because you got people on the internet. They could Google, they could find out anything they want to find out. And if you are trying to sell something to the general public, and you got people who do their due diligence and do their research and start trying to find who owns the business and who's behind the business, and they can't find anything out about you, to some extent, that's going to affect your revenue. It's going to affect your business revenue because you do not have an identity. You ain't got no brand. I tell this to entrepreneurs all the time because they think they listen to people on the internet. They listen to guys like me who have opinions and who tell them, hey, listen, here's what you need to do. You need to start a Wyoming, a Delaware, or Nevada holding company. You need to make sure that you're not the registered agent. You have complete anonymity and full asset protection. And then you go back to your state, you file the paperwork for a foreign business in that state that you live in, and then you just do business through that operational business. And they never make any money. They got all this sophisticated stuff set up and they ain't making no money. You know why they ain't making no doggone money? Here's why. They ain't making no doggone money because they don't have a brand identity. So I'm telling you, if you want to make money and build a brand using the holding company and other operating companies under the holding company, you got to understand that one way to do it is to create brand identity. That's for a whole nother conversation, okay? Number 4, the fourth way to use a holding company is for wealth building. Now that might be something you're saying, okay, that's a given. Well, it ain't no given because some people don't even understand what wealth building is. Okay, I'm explaining to you what I mean by wealth building. I'm not just talking about you having a whole lot of money. Because a lot of people who are wealthy don't have the amount of money that their net worth says they have. Like, for example, there are people who are worth billions of dollars, but they don't have $1 billion in cash. But they're wealthy because they have accumulated assets and they have increased their net worth through the accumulation of those assets. And those assets have revenue value. They have enterprise value. They have market value. And so collectively, through the accumulation of these assets, they are able to have a certain net worth, which means they have a certain level of wealth. So the word net worth and wealth, to some extent, is used interchangeably when you get to a certain point. So somebody who has a net worth of $1 billion is wealthy. Somebody who has a net worth of $200 million, they're in today's world, they're considered wealthy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a holding company can be used to build wealth, but you're building wealth through the accumulation of assets. So that means you got to start accumulating assets. You got to start looking at the assets that you have. A lot of times when you're just running a business, you don't really see the assets that you have. You can have one business that's selling one product or providing one service. And if you're in that business, you don't really see what somebody who's outside of that business sees. So when you hear people say things like, you don't need to be working in your business, sometimes you need to work on your business. Well, the way you work on your business is by creating a holding company and putting that operating business under your holding company so that you can work on it. And while you're working on it, you start stacking these assets. You start accumulating these assets. And when you start stacking and accumulating these assets, they all start having a certain dollar value. And guess what it does? It helps you build wealth. This is how you use a holding company. Let me give you the fifth and final way to use a holding company. The fifth and final way to use a holding company is for business acquisitions. This is a big thing for me right now because I'm putting my whole entire company in a financial net worth wealth position to acquire other businesses. Like I'm becoming so fascinated with business acquisitions that I'm more interested in putting money in the acquisition of other business than I am in the acquisition of real estate. And me and my wife, we've been real estate professionals for 20 years now, over 20 years. And one of the reasons why acquisitions is becoming such a big thing across the board, but especially for people like me who want to accumulate wealth and accelerate that wealth, is because when you acquire a business, you actually acquire a whole lot of the assets that anybody should be accumulating. Think about it. When you acquire a business, you can acquire equipment, you can acquire intellectual property, you can acquire trade secrets, you can acquire copyrights, trademarks, domains, email addresses, names, a book of business, contracts, leases. There are so many different assets that I talk about that you need to accumulate to increase your net worth anyway, that are already built into most businesses, even if they're not making a lot of money. So there are over 1,600 businesses that shut down every day, right? Think about how many of those 1,600 businesses have email addresses, have leads, have CRMs, they have names and numbers. Like, this is a big, big deal. But again, all of this starts with you having your holding company established, you understanding the purpose of that holding company, and you understanding how to manage this thing you call a holding company on a day-to-day basis. So that every day you wake up, even if you out there scrapping, having to make money, running your operating business, you are still mindful of how to build this organizational enterprise out so that at some point you can have that net worth and accumulate that wealth. So I'm giving you 5. I have many other ways that you can use a holding company, but I'm giving you 5 on today's show so that you can see, wow, if I have a holding company and I set it up the right way and I follow the path of somebody like Ramonepreston and what he's telling me, I can use my holding company as an asset management company. Well, you got to become an asset manager. You got to start thinking like an asset manager. You can't just be thinking like a laborer or as a owner of a business that's out there selling a product or a service. So that's a mindset shift that got to take place, right? But again, you can also use a holding company to mitigate operational plateaus. So what that means is you're not going to get plateaued doing the thing you're doing in your business. This is why a lot of business owners exit business. This is one of the reasons why over 1,600 businesses shut down every day. A lot of those businesses shut down every day because the owner of the business has plateaued. They don't know where else to go. If they would have just set up a holding company and put that operational business under their holding company and saw themselves as asset managers, they wouldn't have had an operational plateau. They would have figured out ways to accumulate different assets to increase their ability to either get funding, to get loans, to get venture capital, to get investors or partners. All this stuff comes into play when you put your infrastructure together right. Ain't nobody gonna be investing in no business or loaning you money for a business and you ain't even got your infrastructure set up right. That's what a lot of people are looking for, companies and institutions as well. The third way you can use a holding company is for brand identity. This is a missing piece of the puzzle for a lot of people that I talk to who hear people on the internet talking about holding companies, and the first thing they want to do is go start a holding company in Nevada, a holding company in Wyoming, a holding company in Delaware, and now they got anonymity, don't nobody know their name, but nobody knows your name. Do you understand? Like, nobody knows your name, so you wanted anonymity so bad, you ruined your possibility of creating a brand. It's stupid. Unless you just got money and you don't care. Because again, I do know, and my wife and I, we've worked with some real estate investors who they wanted anonymity. They wanted to own a company that owned companies that did real estate and had rental properties, and they didn't want to be known. You get what I'm saying? They didn't want to be known. But their business was property rental. So they felt like they didn't have to be known until they go to certain banks and banks do due diligence looking for certain paperwork, or until they try to get loans from individuals or venture capital, or if they try to crowdfund, that's when the brand becomes an issue, because don't nobody know you, bruh. Don't nobody know you, sis. So you can use your holding company to parlay that, okay? Number 4, wealth building. You use your holding company to build wealth. I just dropped a new course on my Millionaire Blueprint program. It's called How to Increase Your Net Worth Using a Holding Company. And I share about 30 different things you can identify with that are actually assets that if you accumulate them, meaning that if you bring them together and put them in a proper context in your business, and you integrate them to your business by figuring out how you can make money from them, and sometimes it's just about moving them around your organization as the owner of all these businesses, you can increase your net worth and build wealth. Your business ecosystem, your enterprise can become self-sufficient. Like, I know it's possible because I've done it. And then number 5, acquisitions. That's a way to use a holding company for business acquisitions. So here's the good part about all of this that I'm sharing with you. If you've never had access to any of my courses, if you've never been to any of my events, if you've never given me and my team an opportunity to work with you, I am extending, as we say in the hood, an olive branch to you. I'm extending a one-of-a-kind offer to you, because I want everybody in my community to have holding companies, to have operating companies, to have assets, to have net worth, to have valuations, to have enterprise value. I want y'all to be millionaires. I want you to be successful, not just for us to continue to do business with each other, but I want it for you and for your children. I want my people to have legacies. I don't want the next generation to come behind us and they struggling because we wasn't willing to make the necessary sacrifices and learn what we need to learn. See, I'm a generational curse breaker. I stopped that at my generation. My mama, them, bless their soul, they passed away. My mom and my dad and my grandparents, they didn't do what I did. I appreciate the life they gave me, but they didn't do the stuff I'm doing. And I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing because I don't want my children and my grandchildren, natural children and spiritual children, people who are in my immediate family and in my faith family, I don't want my people to experience what I had to experience because nobody set it up for me. And so with that being said, if you've never done business with me, if you've never had access to any of my courses, if all you've done was just watch videos on social media, imagine how much more value you can get if you was a part of one of my programs. And I don't even need no long commitment. I don't want to push you to no 1-year commitment. I want you to just take me up on this offer that I'm extending to you today. And here's what the offer is. The offer is for you to get 1 VIP ticket to my upcoming holding company workshop. I have a holding company workshop that I'm hosting on. It's a holding company workshop, okay? I want you to screenshot this. So I have 1 holding company workshop that I'm about to host on Saturday. It's on Saturday, April the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is a 1-day deep dive, okay? For 1 whole day, you're going to get me and you're going to get my team. We're going to walk you through all the ins and outs of holding companies. We're going to be showing you how to file and form paperwork. We're going to have documents available for you, forms. We're going to show you how to build your divisions and your subsidiaries out. We're going to be talking about how you accumulate these assets and how you draft up certain documents and forms within your organization to create business activities with all of these assets. So I want to give you this 1 VIP ticket to my holding company workshop. Okay, and it's going to be on Saturday, 4/22 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Listen, you can join me in person or virtual. In person or virtual. You don't have to be in person. You could join me virtual. Also, I want to give you my holding company course. So I have a holding company course It's a course and it's a startup kit. It's a startup kit. This one holding company course and startup kit, I promise you, will answer probably like 95 to 99% of the questions you have about a holding company. I don't think it's nobody on the internet right now that gives as much information about holding companies as I do. I mean, I literally have an entire course with a startup kit. I have walkthrough tutorials. Like, you can go through this one course and you will probably come out as a master of the holding company. So this is an offer that I'm extending to you. This is one VIP ticket to my holding company workshop. I'm hosting it Saturday, April the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4. It's a in-person event, but it's also virtual. You can attend virtually or in person. And I want to give you my holding company course and startup kit. So now you can start the course today, and that gives you about 2.5 weeks to be really prepared so that when we come to the workshop, whatever questions you have, I can answer your questions, whatever feedback you need from us, whatever insight and direction you need because you're putting something together, I can answer all those questions and provide that for you. So here's my offer today. I'm giving it to you for $97. Like, you spent $100 going out to eat. I'm telling you, you can spend $100 today and you can get access to my holding company course, learn everything you need to learn about holding companies. You're going to learn so much, you're going to be like, man, I don't know how he charged me $97 for this. But I'm not just giving you the course. I'm making sure that you can show up to a one-day event with me, virtually or in person, so that we can answer your questions and help fine-tune anything that you missed when you took the course. Okay, so it's $97. All you have to do is text VIP. This is what you need to text, VIP, to 678-276-8253. Now, if you plan on attending in person, you gotta sign up as quick as you possibly can, because I don't know when that limitation is gonna hit, because we're gonna be hosting it in person and virtually. So we only have so many seats if you want to attend in person. But if you want to attend virtually, hey, there's no limit, okay? Somebody's asking me, where is the location? We're in Buckhead. We're in Buckhead, Atlanta. But if you can't attend in person, you can always attend virtually. So we have a virtual link that we'll send you the morning of the event. You'll have access to the workbook, so we can walk through the workbook. It's a whole one-day event. Of course, if you could come in person, it's definitely more interactive. But again, I'm giving you my holding company course, the whole course. You're going to go through this. When you go through this course, you're going to be like, this dude has answered every question I had about a holding company, and a VIP ticket to my one-day event, all for $97. Text the word VIP to 678-276-8253. Now, here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to stop selling. Here's what I'm going to say to you. The number of millionaires will double in the next 3 years. I don't know if you saw those statistics that came out recently. The number of millionaires will double in the next 3 years. So we have economic experts that are already projecting by 2026, the number of millionaires will double. They're also talking about how there's a generational transfer of wealth, because like the baby boomers are retiring, you know, some of them are dying and they're just checking out of the entrepreneur world. And there's a lot of wealth that's being transferred to this current generation. Here's what I'm saying to you. I believe a lot of this transfer of wealth, a lot of these millionaires are people who have taken concepts like this holding company and have built infrastructures with assets, not just physical assets or real estate assets, but they've taken assets of retirements that they've had in other accounts. They've taken assets of trademarks and intellectual property, and they've created courses, and they've done so many amazing things. But all of this is going to be housed in these business infrastructures. I want you to be prepped up for it, okay? So I'm giving you my VIP ticket to my holding company workshop. It's going to be on April the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4. It's an in-person or virtual event. And I'm giving you access to my holding company course and a startup kit so you can learn all the ins and outs of a holding company. You reach out to us today by texting the word VIP to this number, and you pay the $97, you're going to get instant access to the course. You'll get a RSVP email, because we're going to RSVP you today, and you can already start training today. You ain't got to wait till the 22nd. You can start training today, and I guarantee you get on this one course today and start training on that course and start learning all the things that I teach you about the holding company. It's going to change everything in your life. Let me show you what that holding company course looks like. You can actually go to Ramonepreston University and you can see it for yourself. I'm going to see if I can pull it up before I go. But I want you to text the word VIP to 678-276-8253. While I'm here, we're getting ready to end. I have an appointment to go to, but I just want to show you real quickly how the holding company course looks. So you could go to our university. This is our Millionaire Blueprint right here. And inside of our Millionaire Blueprint is our holding company course. And I want to show you how much information is in that course. Here's the course right here. How to start and structure a holding company. That's the course right there. How to start and structure a holding company. This is the other course I was just telling you about, how to increase your net worth using a holding company. But we're going to give you access to this course on how to start and structure a holding company. Just look at all the information you're getting in that. We're teaching you the power of a holding company. You can open up the modules and see everything you're learning. We're teaching you about understanding a holding company, leveraging a holding company, 5 reasons for starting a holding company, 5 ways to make money through a holding company, 5 common documents for a holding company, the primary purpose of a holding company. We talk about the SMS matrix. This is a creative holding company concept that we teach using the acronym SMS. It is the structure, marketing, and sales concept. We show you how to use a holding company to really position yourself in the market as an expert, and you can actually run a lot of your high-ticket services through the holding company. What else do we teach? About mastering the holding company, ways to use it. Using a holding company for asset management. We teach all about that. Using a holding company for partnerships. Look at this. Then we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modules with nothing but questions on things you need to know about holding companies. Like, we literally answer just about every question we can possibly think of when it comes to a holding company. Should I use a subsidiary for investing in stocks and bonds? Can I transfer my existing LLC to a holding company? We just answer question after question after question. We talk about managing the day-to-day operations of a holding company. We have a do-it-yourself startup kit inside with walkthrough tutorials showing you exactly how to obtain your EIN, what language you need to use, how to draft your articles of organization, what language you need to use. Sometimes your Secretary of State, they don't have holding company categories. So we show you how to use certain language when you're drafting your EIN, your SS4 form for your EIN, your articles, and how to put it in the operating agreement. We give you an operating agreement and all the documents you saw here. Where is it? Right. Let me scroll up. Right here. 5 common documents for a holding company. We give you an asset purchase agreement, equipment lease agreement, residential lease agreement, loan agreement, LLC operating agreement, and a consulting agreement. Actually, 6 documents. I don't know where we get 5 from, but there's 6 in there. So I want you to reach out to me. All you have to do is, I was about to say flex, but text VIP to 678-276-8253, $97. You ain't gonna beat that price nowhere. Hey, CB, I appreciate you, man. He says, I'm a client and this is a monumental opportunity. Luck equals preparation, meeting opportunities. It sure is. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm doing it because I want so many people to get onto this, and I want people to learn this, and I'm willing to step out. I told my team yesterday when we came into the office prepping up for the week, I was like, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is a $997 program on my university. If you go to my university program, if you go to my university platform, this is $997. Like this costs $997 to purchase this if I was not offering it. Let me go to Ramonepreston.com real quick. Let me just show you so you don't think I'm on here capping. You go to my website, Ramonepreston.com, and let's see here. Can we find events? We're going to go to the events page. I'm going to just show you. Okay, we have events. Saturday, April 22nd. This is a workshop. This workshop takes you through the entire process for starting and structuring your holding company, from the EIN to the Articles of Organization. This is the event that I'm giving you a VIP ticket to. This event is on our website right now. It's $497. So in order for you to come, if you go to my events page, you have to pay $497 just to attend the event, and I'm giving you a VIP ticket to that. Okay? If you go to my university platform, let's see here, and we go to exclusive programs, you're going to see the holding company program here, how to start and structure the holding company, is $497. So that's $997. If I wasn't offering this on my show live, you would have to pay $497 for the holding company workshop. That's currently on my events page. And for my holding company course and startup kit, that's currently $497. So that's pretty much 90% off. I'm giving it to you for $97. If I was telling my team this morning after our meeting, I said, listen, if somebody don't want to pay $97 for a $997 offer of a one-day event and a course to teach them everything they need to know about what they say they need to know about, if they can't pay $97 as opposed to paying $997, they don't want it. So it's nothing we can do about it. They just don't want it. It's not that it ain't valuable. It's not that it ain't gonna help them. They don't want it. And those are the people we don't want to do business with anyway. We want to do business with people who want to do business with us. CB says, everyone in here like the channel to receive more information so you aren't left behind. Millionaires will 2x in the next 3 years. That's right, double. And it takes about that time to get it going. Today starts today. Hey, I appreciate all of you for joining the show. I hope that you consider taking me up on this offer. I don't know. I'm one of those people where I can offer it today and then tomorrow I show up and say, you know what? I'm finished with it. Because I don't mind giving people opportunities. I don't mind doing business with people. I'm always trying to help and do my part. But when I'm done with something, I'm done. I move on to what's next. So it's always something new for me and for my team and for my squad. So we're always pushing to something new. So I appreciate you for joining the show. If you want to take me up on this offer, all you have to do is text the word VIP. Text it to 678-276-8253. Otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Thank all of you for your feedback. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for supporting the movement. Be sure to tag some family members and friends and colleagues and people that you know who need this game. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page as well.